Esainayel hecharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esainayel hecharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Esainayel hecharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esainayel hecharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Shabbat shalom. Good Shabbos. Before we get started, I invite you to take a moment to take a breath, close your eyes if you need to, put your feet flat on the floor. Feel yourself grounded, restore seeing your roots through your feet. As we all take a deep breath. We exhale that deep breath. And one more deep breath. Shabbat is about not just resting, not just taking time off. Shabbat is about giving the soul the nourishment it needs to continue with daily life. And so we take that moment to give ourselves the time to pause and to reflect. As we turn to page 120, they don't know that I'm going to ask them to do this, but I'm going to ask Rachel and Sarah to lead us in lighting the candles. We will all sing the prayer together. If y'all will just light the candles for us. As at page 120, as many of our board members are learning, if they're on the bema, there's usually something that you get to do. Yep, that's it. Y'all are so great. Go right ahead, and we're all going to sing the prayer together. Carol Joy, do you have that? Otherwise, we'll sing it out about. Haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. If one of you will just hold up the Kiddush cup. We're going to all read together on page 122, that first English there at the top and then the English at the bottom before we go on to the prayer on 123. And there was evening and there was morning the sixth day. The heaven and the earth were finished and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim. Thank you. Again. Thank you very much. On page 138, we find the poem Lecha Dodi. This poem is one that has very mystical origins. The mystics of Shabbat would use this 9-stanza poem as they would go out into the fields to greet Shabbat. In the Hasidic tradition, it is very a commonplace to greet Shabbat as though it is a person coming into our lives to give us the rest that we need. And so we remember and reflect with them on the words of Lecha Dodi as we sing together the Ashkenazic version of Lecha Dodi. We'll sing verses along with the refrain. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, standing on the 9th verse. Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamo v'zachor b'diborecha hishmianu el ha'meyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelchakim mekor ha'beracha meros mikedem nesucha sov ma'aseh b'machsheva techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri ki va'orek kumi yuri shidaberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 9. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam v'simcha ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, Yay, lay, 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 yay, lay, 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 yay, lay, 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 yay, lay, 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 lay. While we've risen, take a moment to wish each other Shabbat Shalom, and I'm going to challenge you tonight to wish someone Shabbat Shalom that you normally miss on each Friday night, because we all normally hit our friends first. So, Shabbat Shalom, y'all. Yay, lay, 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 lay. Do another lay, lay, lay. Together, the words of Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, a psalm, a song for Shabbat, on page 140. Let's read that psalm together. It starts, a psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together, you have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai. How very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no. Page 144, we join together with Chatzi Kaddish. Yit Gadal ve'yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma devarach erotei ve'amlich malchutei B'chayechon u'vyomechon U'v'chayerecho Beit Yisrael Bagala Bagala Uvizman Kariv Vimeru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'alam alal me'al maya Yitbarach Yitbarach Vayishabach V'yitbar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitale V'yitalal Shemei Kedushal Berechu Leili Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiram Belma Vimeru Amen. I invite you to rise as we turn to page 146 for Baruch Hu. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Let's try that again. Yeah, la 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 la. Good. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Yeah, la 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 la. 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 You may be seated. Normally we would continue standing, but we're going to do 2 more songs before Shema, and I don't want you to have to stand during all of that unless you would like to. That's totally up to you, but I'm not going to ask you to do that. The next song we're going to do is Roll Into Dark, and we do this song, we've done this song before, we do it relatively often, but I wanted to go back and look back at it just a little bit to make sure that we had some of these words solidified in our mind a little bit. So the words for Roll Into Dark start out with, obviously, roll into dark. So repeat that, roll into dark, roll into dark, roll into dark, roll into light, roll into light. So that makes sense, right? Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day. Night becomes day. Day turns to night. Day turns to night. That's all the English words are. So there's one little tricky word, day turns to night. But you know, if you say day becomes night, that's okay too. It means the same thing. So we're going to sing it, and you're going to repeat after me. Roll into dark, roll into dark. Nice. Roll into light, roll into light. Night becomes day, night becomes day. Day turns to night, day turns to night. Again. Roll into dark, roll into dark, roll into light, roll into light. Night becomes day, night becomes day. Day turns to night, day turns to night. So now we're going to try all of that together as Carol Joy keeps going. And we'll go into the Hebrew here in a moment, but don't worry about that yet. Let's just get into rolling into dark. Together. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night again. And roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. So the next part of this you can find in the middle of page 148, Borei Yom V'Layla, kind of the middle of that prayer. And so we're going to sing that together. We'll do it a couple of times, see if we can get it. But let's just all try to get those Hebrew words in right now. 1, 2, 3. Borei Yom V'Layla, Golel or mipnei choshech, Golel or mipnei choshech, Vechoshech mipnei or. Good, try that again. Borei Yom V'Layla, Golel or mipnei choshech, Golel or mipnei choshech, Mechoshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. On the next page, page 150, you can find the words to Ahavat Olam, and the song we're going to sing tonight for that is Debbie Friedman's Ahavat Olam. We've done that a good bit of times here, so I invite you to join in. Again, if it's not something you're familiar with, that's okay. The point is to throw yourself into the prayer and make it yours. So Ahavat Olam, everlasting love. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot Torah u'mitzvot Hukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochmenu Ukumenu nasiach bechukecha V'nismak b'divrei toratecha U'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam balayla Nege yomam balayla Ve'ahavarcha Ve'ahavarcha al tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael. I invite you now to rise for Shema on page 152 and 153 as we join together in ancient words made new, Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. You may be seated as we turn to page 154. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, amen. Responsively at the bottom of page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Our song of redemption, Michamocha, the song the Israelites sang after they came out of the Red Sea and witnessed their salvation from Egypt. Those words can be found on page 158 at the top. I invite you to join me in Debbie Friedman's version of Michamocha. Yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Let's try that last verse. B'ne'emar kifada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu baruch ata Adonai gal Yisrael. Michamocha, back to the top. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. The Hasidic tradition is largely responsible for bringing us what we know of as nigunim or a nigun. And those are things that we might not know the name of, but we hear them in services all the time. And this is a nigun. Yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Or really any yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Right, so in the point of a nigun, you may ask, why do we do yai lai lai and die 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 and lots of bitty bitty bomb bombs in places and here and there? And the point of that type of expression, that type of music, is to link yourself to wordless expression of joy in whatever it is you're doing. Because sometimes words actually cannot express what it is you need to express. And so when it comes to a nigun, you may find a fast nigun, you may find a slow nigun. You may find one that makes you want to dance, you may find one that makes you want to cry. But the point of a wordless song is there for you to use, for your soul to cry out when it is something that you know not what else not to say, or when you know not what to say. And so I challenge you as you go about your day, moving forward, if you find yourself humming and singing things, that's a nigun. Lean into it. It's perfectly fine. It does not have to sound pretty. It does not have to make sense. As long as you feel it, it's something there for you, and it's something in our Jewish tradition that it gives us permission to do. So I invite you to take that in as something for yourself. On page 161, at the top of the page, there is the prayer that's been set to a Noah Aronson song, or Noah Aronson has set this prayer to a song, rather. We're not going to sing that tonight, but I invite you all to join me in the Let There Be Love prayer at the top of page 161. Together, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapurei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The words of Yismechu can be found at the bottom of page 162. Yismechu ve'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat ve'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu ve'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat ve'korei oneg Shabbat. Aha mekadeshei mekadeshei shvi Shabbat. Kulam yisbeu vayitangu mitu v'chashabat. Yismechu ve'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat ve'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu ve'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat ve'korei oneg Shabbat. Ve'hashvi'i ratzita bo ve'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu ve'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat ve'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu ve'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat ve'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher zecher lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat. Yismechu ve'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat ve'korei oneg Shabbat. ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. On pages 164, 166, 168, and 170, we find our central tefillah, our central prayer. And just on a note, as I invite you to rise for this prayer, the word Baruch, the root of the word Baruch means or comes from bending of the knee. So if you've ever wondered in a prayer service why we pop our knees in and bow when we say Baruch, that is because that word literally carries a connotation of bending your knee. And so it's something that I get a lot of questions about sometimes. Why do we do that? What's the point behind that? I've done it my entire life, but I have no idea why. That's why we're bending our knees. And so I invite you to use the choreography of the service to your own purpose, keeping in mind what some of these words mean. As we go into the prayers on page 164, I invite you to join me. Adonai sefatai tiftach uvi adita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zokeh Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'mei Bigula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo V'Ahava, Melech Ozer Mashiach Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Abraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Elam Adonai, Mekayem et imat harav Loshia, Morid Hatav, Mekayel Kayim Bekesed, Mekayem etim Berachim Rabim, Somek Noflim Berofei Kovim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Migamot Aval Geburot, Umidom Elah, Melech Menit Umekayem, Umatzliach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lechayot bitim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekayem ha'ametim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, v'kedoshim lechol yom yalalu v'selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Whether it is the words of your own heart or the words of the Siddur, your prayer book, I invite you to continue praying through page 181. You may be seated whenever you are ready. Shalom Rab, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rab, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rab, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rab, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael, et amcha Yisrael. Bechol leit ubechol shah bishlomecha, Join me, Shalom Rav. Shalom Rab, Al Yisrael, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, Tasim le'olam. Repeat that, Shalom Rab. Shalom Rab, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, forever and ever, le'olam. At this point, we take a moment. We normally do our full Torah service, and tonight we're going to do a little bit of an abbreviated style Torah service. But I invite you to turn in your prayer books, if I can get mine turned to the correct spot. Page 364. That is correct. I invite you to rise before the open ark for Ki Mitzion. before we go any further in service, we want to take a moment to remember all of those in our community who are sick, that miss their lives beneath our Torah scroll tonight, being blessed, being made holy. Our thoughts and our prayers are with Deborah Atwood, Bob Bailey, Sue Ray Bishop, Gavin Brannon, Lauren Rosenbaum Brown, Bill Cohen, Marion Epstein, Philip Gordon, Elizabeth Harrington, Dan Hart, Eric Heron, Bill Howell, Jerry Jacobs, Carolyn Joyner, Philippa Newfield, Donna Organ, Robert Pack, Jerry Prince, Damian Riggs, Yolanda Henderson Riggs, Joyce Solomon, Michael Sawyer, Dennis Shornick, Gilbert Sollick, Hunter Sparkman, Elizabeth Winston-Stein, Toby and Rice, Catherine Wiener, and our dear ones in Fifth and Israel, Gabriella Levitsky Ott and family, Shoshana Barnum and family, CP and Rafi Ben Jalila, Galia Bade and children, Miriam Britt and family, Jacob Corcus and family, Sarah Cohen Corcus and family, the family of Alexander Stolar, Ron Shlomiker, Elon Gressel, Jonathan Gressel, Noam Gressel, Macy and Tamar Renault, Rabbi Stuart Clammer and family, Sarit Ozeri and Renat McDonald, the Parker family, Francine Sherwood, Yara and Edward Time, Alex Weissman and family, and all of those in both Israel and abroad in Gaza, as well as lives continue to be lost as hostages continue to not be brought home. And remember them, as well as any that you would like to mention tonight. Join together those names with any that we may have in our heart. So we turn to page 371 for words of Misheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I'm just spotting.
Shabbat Shalom. So a few weeks ago, we encountered a quiet but commanding verse in the Torah. Eish tamid tukad al hamizbeach lo tichbe. A perpetual fire shall be kept burning on the altar, and it shall not go out. A steady fire, one that doesn't dazzle, doesn't demand attention, but never goes out. A fire sustained through daily discipline, tended, guarded, and fed carefully. And then suddenly, this week, we find ourselves at another fire. Vayikchu b'nei Aharon Nadav ve'avihu ish machrato, vayikrivu lifnei Adonai esh zara asher lo tziva otam, Batetse esh milifnei Adonai betuchal otam. And Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron, each took his fire pan, placed fire and incense in it, and offered strange fire before Adonai, which Adonai had not commanded them. And fire came out from before Adonai and consumed them. The deaths of Aaron's sons come out of nowhere. No warning, no buildup. And the Torah gives us only this: Vayidom Aharon, and Aaron was silent. And just like that, it disappears. The Torah moves on almost coldly. From fire that kills, we turn almost immediately to food that sustains. From tragedy straight into daily life. Detailed instructions about what may and may not be eaten. The sequence is striking. When we don't know how to approach God in fire, we begin by approaching God at the table. But before we move on, we should ask what actually went wrong. The Torah doesn't really say it is strange fire. The verb is to be a stranger. The verb used for this particular adjective, verb to make an adjective, the Torah doesn't say anything about this, and the silence has opened generations of interpretation. Rashi, working from Sifra, says Nadav and Avihu brought fire not from the altar, they brought it from somewhere else. Even sacred passion must pass through commanded channels. Midrash Torat Kohanim suggests that they were drunk. And this is because almost immediately after, we get an instruction not to drink before offering service at the temple. Maybe they entered the holiest space a little clouded and unready. Nachmanides suggests it wasn't drunkenness or technical error, but self-initiated service. They acted without a divine command. Even love of God can go astray when it moves without instruction. Tanhuma and Vayikra Rabbah both read ambition into the two sons' actions, the danger of reaching for holiness before being spiritually prepared to hold it. And the Zohar, the foundational text of Jewish mysticism, offers the most tender reading of them all. Nadav and Avihu simply wanted to be near God. They experienced ratzo, an overwhelming surge of spiritual yearning, but they lacked shuv, the return to groundedness. And they were consumed not by rebellion, but by a longing too great to service. They were so holy, and what they were doing was not commanded, that flash, they went up in smoke before the eternal. And maybe they meant well. Maybe they wanted to do something beautiful and holy, but their inner state, their kavanah, their intention was not ready. Maybe the fire they brought was technically correct, but spiritually misaligned. In sacred spaces, the heart matters as much as the hand. Even right action can become wrong when the soul behind it is fragmented. The contrast between their fire and the altar's fire becomes very clear. The perpetual fire, the Eish Tamid of the altar, wasn't dramatic. It didn't depend on sudden inspiration. It relied on steadiness, daily practice, humility, and commitment. It survived human emotions, excitement, fear, pride, and exhaustion. It taught that the real spiritual work isn't found in flashes of light, but in lasting, deliberate flame fed on a regular basis. And so the Torah turns without warning to kashrut. The very next section of Leviticus, we begin with those dietary laws with no connection to Nadav and Avihu's death made whatsoever, but the sequence is quite deliberate. As we said, from fire that kills, we turn immediately to food that sustains. From tragedy, we go straight into daily life. The message may be this: when we don't know how to approach God in fire, again, we begin by approaching God at the table. This isn't an argument for keeping kosher. This is a personal decision. Again, this is not an argument for keeping kosher. It's an argument for a personal decision. But it's worth noticing that the structure of the Torah seems to teach the holy doesn't have to begin with ecstasy. It begins with what's right in front of us. Kashrut, like other forms of ritual discipline, is not about following rules for the sake of rules. It's about attention, awareness, and asking, what am I putting into my body? Where did it come from? Is this act a part of my values, or is it separate from them? What kind of world am I creating through my choices? Again, this is something that we can do with many other types of rituals. Ritual helps turn repetition into meaning, and it gives shape to feeling. And when it's done well, it turns discipline into devotion. As Midrash Shmuel teaches, kavanah, intention, without mitzvah is like a body without a soul. But mitzvah without kavanah is like a soul without a body. Intent and action need each other. The fire needs the altar. Nadav and Avihu burned with intensity, but they had no vessel, no structure. They remind us that spiritual longing, no matter how deep, must be made livable. Most of life doesn't happen in divine moments. It happens in the ordinary, in meals, in habits, in weeks that feel repetitive and unremarkable. And that's not a flaw in the system. That is the system itself. Torah gives us a model that doesn't chase emotional highs. It gives us this Eish Tamid, this perpetual fire. It invites us to become fire keepers, not seekers of spectacle, but people who know how to tend the sacred over time. The question is not, can we burn brightly? The question is, can we keep the flame from going out? May the practices we build, whatever they are, not be strange fire, untethered and consuming. May they be steady, thoughtful, and rooted. May they carry our hearts upward without leaving the world behind. And may the fire on the altar, our altar, never go out. Amen. I invite you to rise now as we turn to page 374 for Eitz Chaim, to return the Torah to the Ark. We will also continue standing as we turn to Aleinu. I'll tell you the page again, but that'll be 586 if you want to go ahead and mark it. Please rise. Page 586, Aleinu l'shabeach. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'kol. seated. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggle of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love are we comforted. O life of our life, O soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and to fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. Tonight our thoughts are with the friends and family of Bill, God help as they mourn his loss, and with Sherry Glass as she mourns the loss of her father, Henry Thrower, as well as all those who are observing yard sites for Mike Binder, Maureen Clavin, Clifford Davis, Ruth Dorman, Shia Dumont, Miriam Fratkin, Eileen Hanf, Joe Harris, Joe Johnson, Coleman Katz, Yakut Lercher, Carl Levy, Lena Mermelstein, Elaine Metz, Helene Wilmetz, Marion Nadboy, Daniel Webster Reddy Jr., Betty Rabinsky, George Siegel, Peter Thames, and Joy Yates. If there are any names that you would like to add or any names that I may have mispronounced, please let me know as I indicate to you. We join together with words of Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, a Kaddish, just a little different on the ending. Kaddish Yatom, our Mourner's Kaddish, can be found on 598. I invite you to rise or be seated as is your tradition. Yit Gadal v'yit Gadash Shamei Rabbah, ve'almad yivarach erotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, Uv'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kariv, v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, Shemei Kedusha b'richu, le'ela minko birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, Da'amiram be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. O se shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all of Israel, and to all of the world, to which we say, Amen. You may be seated. We have a few announcements. Tomorrow, regular Shabbat service, Saturday service will be at 9 a.m., followed by Torah study at 10:45 a.m. Rabbi Gervis will be in residence from April 29th to May 10th. So those of you who are asking when Rabbi Gervis will be back, please mark your calendars, April 29th to May 10th. Master Sophel Rabbi Druin will be at Beth Israel next Wednesday and Thursday. If you're wondering what Master Sofer means, he is Master Sofer Rabbi Druin is a Sofer for Torah. He writes Torah. So he'll be coming in and evaluating our Torah scrolls to let us know what kind of condition they're in. And appraise them and conduct any restoration that we might want to have. Artie Finkelberg will be doubting Host and Discovery April 30th. What is that topic, Bill? Do you know? Who needs God? That's a really good topic. I like that topic. So please RSVP if you would like to attend. On Monday, May 5th, Beth Israel will host a guest speaker from the Middle East Forum. Please RSVP if you plan to attend. And on May 10th at 10:30 a.m., join us as we celebrate Sam Orlansky becoming a bar mitzvah. This and all the other announcements can be found in our blasts that come out multiple times a week. You should be reading them as though they were an addition to scriptures. Make sure you remember them. No, that's a little much. That's a little much. Little much there. But yes, make sure you do read those announcements, because for a community to thrive, a community must come together. And if we don't know what events we have, then we don't know what events to come to. Tonight, our closing song is Ein Keloheinu. We're going to take it back a little old school, 626. We'll make it a little faster though, so it'll be fun. Everyone rise. Let's stand and sing Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Adonenu, Mi Malkeinu, Mi Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for joining us. Give us a few moments and we'll do Motzi in the back.